Hi, and welcome to this new episode in which we're going to look at the perfect training ground. So maybe you've been wondering how you can enhance your vocal practice without having to figuring it out all yourself so that you can make the most of the time that you dedicate for your vocal development and to actually see fast results. So in this episode, I'm gonna go over the 5 crucial elements that you need for the perfect training ground. Let's dive into it. Hi, my name is Maggie. I'm the founder of the Singing Insiders, in which I help singers that are so passionate, just like yourself, to become the best versions of themselves through singing. And in these episodes, you're going to get practical tools, techniques, guide and tips and exercises and insights to take your singing skills to the next level. So let's look at what those 5 elements for the perfect training ground are. Now, in order to truly get this, it's important to be aware of some common mistakes that many beginner singers tend to make. And that is believing that singing can only be done through one-on-one coaching. And we'll talk about that alternative. We'll talk about that later today. And I get where that's coming from, because oftentimes when we're learning a new skill, the first thing that we do is find a teacher to teach us that new skill, when actually there's something that is way more powerful than that. Now, many beginner singers, they don't practice at all. Many beginner singers, they just like to sing for fun, which I totally get. You know, you're in the shower, you're in the car, you're cooking, or you're going to a karaoke bar and then you're singing, and that's nice. But that might not always be the best way to train your voice, and then there's no results happening, no progress happening. So many beginner singers, they don't really realize how important practice is. So if that's anything that you notice yourself doing or thinking, it's a good thing, because now we're aware. And once we are aware, we can shift. And once we're shifting that, we're slowly getting into the world of the trained singer. And that's where I want to get you, because that's where vocal freedom is. The trained singer, they know that it takes more than just one-on-one coaching to become a great singer. And again, we'll talk about that later. Also, trained singers, they know the importance of practice and the impact that a good practice session can have on one's singing journey. So, now that you know how important practice is, let's look at those 5 elements that you need for the perfect training ground. Number 1, consistency. Consistency. If you're not consistent, then there's no progress. Imagine that, look at it like that. You could compare it to someone who's training for, let's say, marathon. Someone that runs and wants to run the marathon. If that person will train once before the marathon happens, do you think there's a good chance that they will run the marathon in a good fashion? Maybe yes, maybe that person has like a natural condition, maybe no. But there's a great chance that it will be harder for someone to run the marathon if they have only practiced once versus maybe every week or every 2 days, right? The same is true with singing. What you're learning is how to use your vocal muscles in a special way, in the right way. That's why vocal training is so important. And if you do not repeat that, then that way of singing will not go into your muscle memory. And then we always have to think about it. The aim with singing is that you don't have to think about it anymore, but that it's so ingrained in your body, in your muscles, that you get to do it almost automatically. But to get to that point, we need to have consistency. So that's 1. Number 2 is accountability. Yes. Did you know that there has been a study, I wrote it down, by the Association for Talent Development, that's how they're called. And they have found that when you are held accountable to your goals, listen closely, you're 95% more likely to actually achieve your goals. 95%. Are you kidding me? That's the power of accountability. Getting someone next to you on your singing journey that holds you accountable. When you say you're going to do something, that you will actually do that thing. That's how powerful accountability is. Number 3, community. Yes. Let's go to that. There's this quote that I love, and it's going something like, you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most of your time with. Now, if we take that as being true, that you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most of your time with, who are those people? Are those people that encourage you, that cheer you on, that believe in you? Or are those people that bring you down? Are those people that spread negativity? Are those people that don't encourage your singing journey? And can you imagine what an impact it can have when you're part of a community that supports you, a community that inspires you, that supports you in dreaming big and holds you accountable to being consistent? Do you see how all those elements are communicating to each other? You cannot have one without the other. So, number 1 was consistency. Number 2 was accountability. Number 3 was community. If you're finding value in this so far, then definitely don't forget to subscribe to this channel or to this podcast, whatever way you're listening or tuning in from. But definitely hit subscribe so that you're keeping these new episodes coming your way. Let's continue because the main ones are actually coming up. Number 4 in our perfect training ground is feedback. And this is so important. Feedback is necessary to know whether you're doing a vocal technique right or not. So when you're singing, you need to have someone tell you, yes, you're doing that exercise right, or no, you're using your voice in the wrong way. Otherwise, you can be practicing, but actually teaching your voice a bad habit. We don't want to have that. So feedback is super important. Number 5 is training. And more specifically, the right type of training. As I said before, if you're practicing, but you're practicing in the wrong way, well, then you're instilling bad habits in your voice, and that would be the wrong type of training. What we want to have here is the right type of training. And we can have a whole conversation about that. But one of the main things to learn is the development of your mixed voice. Because your mixed voice will blend 2 worlds together. The world of power with the world of singing high and low. Those 2 worlds together is mixed voice. And that's one of the main vocal techniques to learn in order to reach that vocal freedom. So I've got a video where I covered all of the mixed voice things with you. I've queued it up in the description here down below, so definitely check that out. Your homework would be to go through that video, because once you have the perfect training ground consisting of, first of all, consistency, accountability, community, feedback, and the right type of training, which is your mixed voice, that will empower you to make real progress really fast. So I will see you in that next video. Again, I linked to it in the description here down below. And looking forward to see you there so that we can talk all about developing your mixed voice to get to that place of vocal freedom. Talk to you then. Bye.